Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all at Nagesh Karajagi Orchid School TV channel. Students, today we are going to learn about the fifth lesson of the science, that is plant life. And in our previous lesson we studied about the common characteristics of all living things. In that we learned the characteristics of animals as well as the characteristics of plants. And in that characteristics we learn about that all living things reproduce. This is the most important characteristics of all living thing, that all living things reproduce. But the reproduction system in animal and plant is different. Why? Because animal reproduce only by two ways, that is by giving birth to the young ones or by laying eggs. But plants reproduce by many ways. So in this lesson we have to study about so many points that are what we have to learn in this topic. How do plants reproduce in different ways? Reproduction in plants with their different body parts like stem, roots, leaves, seeds, etc. Then the structure of a seed and what do seeds need for germination. Also we have to study about the dispersal of seeds by various ways, different types of crops, and what should we do to grow good crops. These points we have to learn in this topic in detail. Now let us start with the first point of the lesson, that is how do plants reproduce. As we know that plant reproduce in many ways. For example, reproduction in plants from the stem. Plants also reproduce from leaves, that is reproduction from leaves. Then reproduction from roots. Then reproduction from seeds. Students, as we all know that life on the earth continuous because all living things reproduce young ones of their own kind. This is very important point, that life on the earth continuous. Why? Because all living things reproduce young ones of their own kind, and animals reproduce by giving birth to babies or by laying eggs. As we know that reproduction in animals is only from by two ways, that is animals reproduce by giving birth to the babies or by laying eggs. For example, cow, dogs, etc. give birth to their babies, and some birds like hen, duck, etc. lay eggs to give the birth or by laying eggs from which babies hatch. But when we look towards the reproduction in plants, we see that plants can reproduce in many ways. Reproduction in plants are different ways. Most of the plants that we see around us reproduce by producing seeds. Some plants can also reproduce from body parts such as leaves, stems, roots, seeds, etc. And plants like ferns, mushrooms, molds and mosses reproduce from seal-like structure called spores. Now we have to study about the reproduction in plants in detail. So first of all we have to study about reproduction in plants from the stem. Reproduction in plants from the stem. See the first point, reproduction from the stem. There are three ways by which plants reproduce through stems, that are from birds, by stem cutting, and by using runners. So these three methods or these three ways in this reproduction from the stem. First of all, see about the reproduction from the birds. See, have you seen ever that new shoots are emerging or coming out from the potatoes or ginger that is stored in your kitchen? If not, then take a potato and observe it carefully. you will find that it has several small buds on it and we call them as eyes. Then each new plants can be grown into new plants from these buds. Potato and ginger are underground stem, and the ginger plant also grow from the buds. And the another example of the reproduction in plants from the stem is the onion. As we know that onion is a bulb. Onion is a bulb. Bulb means an underground stem with fleshy leaves, and new plants grow from onion bulbs. Here I will show you the potato. The potato. This is the potato. If you see, these are the small buds present on that potato. If you want to grow new potato plants, or if the farmers wanted to grow new potato plants, what they do? They cut the potato through this bud and they grow that potato in the soil, and from that buds new potato plants will be grown. So, this is the first method of the reproduction with the help of stem, that is with the help of stem or buds. See, this is the bud, or we also can call them as eyes. This is the eyes. From that new potato plant can be grown. In the same way, ginger plant is also can be grown through these buds. Now, see the next method of the reproduction by stem, that is stem cutting. Here I will show you the stem of rose. This is the stem of rose, and here you can see the buds from the that rose plant, and this rose plant or this stem can be grown into plants to grow new rose plant. This is the stem of rose. Also, the another plant that can be grown by stem cutting, that is hibiscus. This is the stem of hibiscus. Here you can see that new buds growing on that. From that buds, new hibiscus plant can be grown. See, this is the stem cutting. Now, see actually what is meant by stem cutting. By stem cutting, reproduction in plants by stem cutting. Sometimes farmers and gardeners, apart from using buds, what they do, as we know that they will take cuttings of stems, as we see that now before some time, and plant that to grow new plants, means they grow plants from pieces of stem. And now what kind of stem do they take for? They take the pieces that have one or two buds on them. They take the pieces, or they take the stem that have one or two buds on them, and they plant it, and this method is called as stem cutting. Examples of plants that can be grown by this method are like rose, hibiscus, bougainvillea, sugarcane, crotons. That means rose, hibiscus, bougainvillea, sugarcane and crotons reproduce by cutting stems of plants. Now, another very interesting way in which plants can reproduce from stem is the example of strawberry. As we all know, and as we all love to eat the strawberries, and the strawberry plants have long stems. Strawberry plant have long stem. Here you can see the picture of strawberry plant. Strawberry plant have long stem. This is the stem that run along the ground. If you see, this is actually a stem. Here if you see that this is actually a stem, and this is another stem. See, so they have long stem that run along the ground, and each of the stem gives rise to a new plant. Here you can see from first stem another new plant is coming out, then from next stem another plant is coming out. So, this stem which give rise to new plants. So, these stems which gives rise to new plants are called as runners, Here in this picture you can see the bulb of onion and roots. This is the bulb, and onion plant can be grown from that bulbs. Then reproduction in plants from the stem. Here also you can see the stem of rose, the birds on that stem, and new plants can be grown from this stem. So this is the method of reproduction by stem. So what are the methods? There are three methods, either through burrs or eyes. The second one is through stem cutting, and the third one is by using runners. Now see about the next method of reproduction from leaves. Reproduction from leaves. Here you can see the picture of Bryophyllum plant. This is the leaf of Bryophyllum. Some plants like the Bryophyllum plant reproduces new plants through their leaves. This is the leaf of Bryophyllum plant, and the Bryophyllum plant has thick and fleshy leaves. Here you can see the Bryophyllum plant has thick and fleshy leaves, and that leaves have burrs. These are the burrs like eyes. That means that leaves have burrs along the edges, and new plants grow from these burrs. Here you can see root like structure along with that bud. When the leaves drop down to the ground, when these leaves or when these burrs drop down to the ground, the burrs again grow into adult plants. Now here you can see the picture of Bryophyllum plant and the burrs on their leaves. So this is the method of reproduction in plants from the leaves, where the example is Bryophyllum plant. Now see about the next method of reproduction through roots. The roots of some plants such as sweet potato and carrot produce new plants from roots. This is the potato plant. In this method, what we do? In this method of reproduction from the roots, we will looking for the example of sweet potato. This is the sweet potato plant, and we will looking for this as an example. The roots of some plants such as sweet potato and carrot produce new plants. Now here you can see the picture in which sweet potato is supported in a bottle or in a jar with full of water. You can use jam bottle also for doing this experiment at your home. You can take any type of bottle, but bottle should be filled with water. Using the toothpicks, or using these are the toothpicks, or you can use another sticks also to support that as shown. And if you see the sweet potato after some days, then you can see the roots are started to form and plants also grow bigger. Here what I do, or what you see here, that sweet potato plant is supported or fitted in a jar filled with water with the help of toothpicks, and after some days the roots are coming out from that sweet potato plant. So this is the method of reproduction from the roots. Now see about the reproduction from the stem, reproduction from the seeds. Here you can see the picture of the reproduction from seeds, and here also you can see some seeds. Students, as we know that most of the plants reproduce from seeds. So where are these seeds found, or where we found the seeds? These seeds are usually found inside the fruits. Mostly we found the seeds inside the fruit, and they are in different shapes and sizes. We can see so many types of seeds around us. For example, we see seeds of mango, seeds of papaya, seeds of a custard apple, etc. Also I will show you here some seeds. If you see here, this is the seeds of tamarind, peanuts, then gram, linseed, this is the linseed seeds, and rice, seeds of rice. These are the different types of seeds. Here you can see the germination or reproduction from the seeds, stages of the reproduction in the seeds. So these are the some seeds which we found inside the seeds, and on the other hands we also have hard seeds such as nuts, pulses, maize, etc. So when we sow these seeds in the soil, and when they get enough water, sunlight and nutrients, then they start growing in new plant. So this is all about the reproduction in plants through different ways. Now we will learn about the reproduction in plants from the seeds. Now we have to learn about the structure of seed. The structure of a seed. Here you can see, now you see the different types of seeds. Out of these, if you see the seeds of bean or gram, they are quite hard and dry. They are quite hard and dry, and they cannot be broken easily because they have hard in structure, therefore they cannot be broken easily. But the same thing, or at the same time, if you soak these seeds in water and leave them overnight, and after next morning you come back and when you see that, or when you look at these seeds, you will see that seeds become very soft and moist, and also they can be easily swell up. Why this is? This is because the seeds absorb the water, because the seed absorb the water and swells up. You can see the picture of the structure of the seeds here. The structure of a seed. This is the structure of a seed. Seed contains seed coat, scar, hole for water, cotyledon and embryo. See each part. This is the picture which shows the structure of the seed. The thick outer covering, this is the thick outer covering. Here you see thick outer covering is called as the seed coat. This is the seed coat. This thick hard outer covering is called as seed coat, and this seed coat acts as a protective wall or protective layer like our house, and protects the entire seed from any damage. What is the function of that seed coat? To protect the seed from any damage. And when you go deeper on one side of the seed, there is a structure called as scar. This structure is called as the scar. What is meant by scar? Scar is a permanent mark, and this is where the seed is attached to the fruit. What is the scar? Scar is a permanent mark, and this is where the seed is attached to the fruits. Now just above the below the scar or above the scar, here you see the hole. There will be a small hole that is present. And what is the function of that hole? This hole allows water to enter in the seed and make the seed swell up. So this is the seed coat, this is the scar and hole for water. If you try to look inside the seed, or when you broke the seed and if you look inside the seed, there you can see it have two small seed leaves like this, two small seed leaves which are called as seed leaves cotyledons. These are the cotyledons. So if you look at the structure and try to open it, for example peanut seeds, or gram seeds, then it will look like this picture. It will look like this picture. Here you can see the two seed leaves which are called as cotyledons, and between the cotyledons is the baby plant. Between the cotyledon is the baby plant called as the embryo. This is called as the embryo. And when you see the embryo will have the baby root and the baby shoot. This is the baby shoot and this is the baby root. Baby root, baby shoot. And the seed leaves protect the plant, baby plant. The seed leaves protect the baby plant. They also store food for baby plants. But all seeds do not have two cotyledons like peanut or grams. And some examples that don't have two cotyledons, for example corn or maize. Corn or maize have only one cotyledons. Now let us see what is mean by germination. Next part of the topic is the germination of seeds. And what do seeds need for germination? So what is mean by germination? The growth of a baby plant from a seed is called a germination. What is the definition or what is the meaning of germination? The growth of a baby plant from a seed is called germination. See, when seeds get enough water, air, sunlight or warmth, then they grow into new plants. We know that these three things are essential for germination of seeds, because without of that, or even if one of these is missing, if they are not getting water or if they are not getting proper air or proper sunlight, then they will not germinate. Okay. Then seed use the food stored in the cotyledons. We see the cotyledon. Where is the cotyledon? And seed use the food that is stored in the cotyledons to grow. So where do the seed get food to grow? Seed use the food that is stored in the cotyledons to grow. So we can say that the growth of a plant from a seed, the growth of a baby plant from a seed is called a germination, and the baby plant is known as seedling. What we can say, the baby plant is known as seedling. Now next part of the topic is that dispersal of seeds. Dispersal of seeds. Before that, you can see the picture of germination of seeds and stages of germination. In the first step of germination, we sow the seed in the soil. When that seed get enough air, water, sunlight, then they start to grow and finally grow into bigger plant. Now see about the dispersal of seeds. Now in the next part of the topic, we have to learn about the dispersal of seeds by different ways. But so when we look at this point, the first question that comes in our mind is that why is dispersal of seed necessary? Why is dispersal of seeds necessary? Now answer for that question is that if you see plants that grow too close to each other, then they will not get enough space. Also they will not get enough air, also they will not get enough water or minerals, food and sunlight. And under this condition, plants cannot grow properly into healthy plants. So for these reasons, dispersal of seed is necessary. Means seeds have to disperse from their mother plant. Since a plant produces a large number of seeds, nature has provided means of scattering the seeds far and wide, so that crowding is reduced. In short, we can say that the scattering of seeds away from the parent or away from the mother plant is called a seed dispersal. The scattering of seeds away from the parent plant is called a seed dispersal. Now, there are various ways by which seeds can disperse or seeds get scattered. For example, fruits and seeds are scattered with the help of wind. They also get scattered due to water, flowing water, also due to animals, and also due to explosion of fruits. That is why wind, water and animals are called as agents of dispersals, agents of dispersals. So, let us study about the dispersal by wind, dispersal by water, dispersal by animals and dispersal due to explosion of fruits, one by one in detail with an example. First, we will learn about the wind dispersal. This is the wind dispersal. Here you can see the dispersal by wind. Now, when we see about the wind dispersal, we will notice that the seeds that are scattered by wind are usually very small and light. They are usually small in size, also they are light in weight. So, only if the seeds which are small in size and light in weight can be dispersed by wind. For this, the example will be dandelion. Here you can see dandelion. This is the seed of dandelions. They are scattering due to wind. Also, cotton seeds can be dispersed by wind, because dandelion and cotton seeds have long and fine hair surroundings on them. Here you can see that dandelion have long and fine hair surroundings them, helps to make it easy for the wind to carry the seeds away. You can see the picture of dandelion seeds here. This is the dandelion seeds and they are dispersed due to wind. Like dandelion and cotton seeds, there are two more examples of seeds which can be dispersed by wind, such as maple seed and drumstick seed. Here you can see the picture of that. That means maple seeds and drumstick seeds can be also dispersed due to wind. Why? Because they have wing-like structure attached with them. Here you can see wing-like structure. This is the seed and this is the wing-like structure which is attached to them, and that help them to float in air. So, in these two manner, either by long fine hair or by wing-like structure, seeds get dispersed by wind. Now, the next method of dispersal is water dispersal. Here you can see the water dispersal. When we talk about the water dispersal, the seeds of plants that grow in or near flowing water like river, streams, etc. may be dispersed by wind. Now, in these the plants that disperse seeds in water generally also have fruits and seeds that float on water, and example for these are water lily, lotus and coconut can be dispersed due to water. You can see the picture of lotus seed here. This is the picture of lotus seed which can be float on the water, and this is the seed of coconut. Now, when we see an example of coconut fruit, the coconut fruit has air trapped in between its husk. So, if you see in its husk, there will be a lot of air trapped inside the coconut seeds, which make it light and easy to float on water. So, water carries these fruits and seeds to far off places. So, with these seeds can easily scatter from the mother plant. So, this is water dispersal. Remaining methods of dispersal of seeds we will see in our next session. So, now with this point of the lesson, we will conclude our session here. But before concluding the session, we have to take a short review, or we have to know what we studied today. First of all, we studied different methods of reproduction in plants, that is from stem, leaves, roots and seeds. Then we see about the structure of seed and dispersal of seeds. In that we learn only two methods of dispersal. Then remaining methods we will look in our next session. If anyone have any doubts regarding the session, then please feel free to ask your doubts. Thank you.